On the 4th of September 476 AD, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, a 16-year-old emperor, was dislodged from power by a barbarian called Odoacer after about 1,000-year-plus rule of the Roman Empire. Well, this is far from even a summary of how the Roman Empire fell, but that's not our bone of contention today. Bienvenue, people of this weird planet called Earth. Welcome to another enlightening episode of history's most influential humans with yours truly, Damilare Mapa. It's been a while. So today, I'll be taking you through how our influential human for the day wrote his name in the course of history. In the height of the unified Roman Empire, it controlled about 1,000 square miles and had one of the largest military arsenals the world has ever witnessed. Its western part crumbled in the 5th century, although the eastern half of the empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, survived much longer. Charlemagne, born on April 748, was the eldest son of Pepin the Short. He became king of the Franks, primarily made up of modern-day France and Germany, in 768, after the death of his father, although his father made him co-rule with his brother, Charlemagne. P.S. They weren't really in good terms. Unfortunately, but most probably not for Charlemagne, his brother died in 771 and thus he became the sole ruler of the Franks. This was when he decided that it was time to conquer more lands and expand his kingdom. In 774, Charlemagne attacked his bordered kingdom, the Kingdom of Lombards, in modern-day northern Italy, who had issues with its pope, who was an ally to his father. So maintaining this relationship, and also most probably because of his own ambitions, he conquered the kingdom and made the pope govern a part of the kingdom. Then he named himself the King of the Lombards. He moved on to conquer more and more lands. He moved southeast and conquered as far as modern-day Croatia in 796. In 797, to the northeast of the Franks, he finally conquered the Saxons, who he had been having religious and territorial issues with since 772, as they were pagans. Although this came at a bloody price, especially through the massacre of Verdun, where Manuel ordered the execution of over 4,000 Saxon prisoners, because they allowed a man called Widukind be their king, that is the Saxons, I guess. Well, after this event, the guy, Widukind, was said to have accepted baptism. Just imagine. Then Charlemagne went on to Spain and conquered part of it, e.g. Barcelona, which was then ruled by the Muslims. Around 799, Charlemagne had expanded his reign from the Kingdom of the Franks, comprising of modern-day France and Germany, to huge parts of modern-day Italy, Spain, Croatia, and so on. And then in 800, he was named the Emperor of Rome by Pope Leo III, which was more of a political than a religious declaration. And this was how Charlemagne became the first recognized Emperor of Rome, almost 300 years after the fall of the Roman Empire and the first unification of Western Europe. The ceremony was done on Christmas Day at Old St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. After this win, Charlemagne still went on to conquer a few other neighboring kingdoms, and at the height of his reign, he had united most of Western Europe, which were never part of previous Frankish rule and the former Roman Empire. Charlemagne then started a transformational reform in his new empire, although he was said to have just basic educational background. He established what is known as the Carolingian Renaissance, which brought about achievements like the standardization of text, significant increase on societal literacy, increase in trade, economical stability, and so much more. This was what differentiated eras before his rule, which were described as the Dark Ages in Europe. These wonderful achievements and so much more from this influential human is why Charlie the Great is referred to as the father of Europe. Finally, like every human will, Charlemagne died in 814 after a 47-year reign as the king of the Franks, king of the Lombards, and in quote, the Emperor of Rome. He was said to have had at least 4 wives and 3 legitimate sons. I'm sure you know what that means. But unfortunately, only the youngest of his child, Louis the Pious, survived till adulthood to succeed him. But Louis lost most of his father's conquered empire later on. Well, a lot of historical events happened after this, but I'm sure you now understand how influential today's human was in the course of history. Thus, we have come to the finito of this episode. Join me next time, probably next 2 weeks or next 1 month, if I do a throwback on another episode of HMIH Podcast. I'm your host, Damilare Mapa, and I bid you farewell.